Welcome to Attention Retention with Jackie McManus, your source for the latest trends in transportation recruitment and retention.
Welcome to Attention Retention, the podcast where we explore the world of recruitment and retention in the trucking and logistics industry. I'm your host, Jackie McManus, CEO of KJ Media, a recruitment advertising agency specializing in this space. Today, we'll be discussing and reviewing 2023 recruiting for a better 2024. Make sure to like and subscribe on whatever channel you're listening to so you can stay up to date on all of our future content. As we wrap up 2023, it's the perfect time to take a closer look at how your recruitment budget has performed this past year. In light of the ever-changing economy, businesses are taking a second look at their budgets to discover ways to save costs without compromising their core strategies and hiring goals. In today's podcast, I'm going to explore and provide you with 5 essential steps to analyze your 2023 recruitment efforts, paving the way for a more successful 2024. So step 1, it really starts with reflection. So step 1, reflect on 2023 and let's set the stage going into the next years. Some questions you want to consider as you review this past year is, did we hit our hiring targets? Did we face any unexpected challenges? Was employee turnover higher than usual? How much did we spend? And were there specific months that we spent more than usual? If your company has seasonalities in your business, were you able to support those spikes in businesses? And what about the dollars that were maybe spent on temporary staffing? So these are all really important questions we need to ask ourselves as we prepare for a more successful 2024. So 4 steps to keep in mind throughout this podcast as you assess the success of your 2023 recruitment efforts. Examine whether hiring goals were met and identify the causes of turnover. For example, an aging workforce, or if drivers were leaving to go to a specific competitor. Evaluate temporary staffing expenses as part of your budget review. That is a big piece that I always recommend clients looking at. Sometimes goes overlooked, but if you have a more robust recruitment strategy, lower turnover rate, your temporary staffing costs should be little to none. And thirdly, you want to highlight the importance of having a really strong recruitment plan going into next year. Step number 2 is always look at our recruitment calculator and set goals. So if you haven't already, go ahead and grab the recruitment calendar link from below. It's a really handy tool that a lot of our clients use to plan for the upcoming year. This is where you can set key goals like the number of open positions that you have, the turnover rates that you currently have, and the average cost per hire. The goal is to look at how your company has reduced or increased turnover, what your average cost per hire was, did it increase or did it decrease year over year, and what was your average lead to hire ratio. Lead to hire ratio is a really important metric in KPI. It's really extremely important to monitor. If you're able to find different tweaks in your recruitment process to increase how quickly your team can actually bring on new employees, this will affect all different aspects of your current process. For us, this is a ratio that we really do monitor very closely for our clients. So for example, if a new client begins working with us, and let's say they only hire 1 out of 10 qualified candidates, there's obviously a problem. And this can be something that's adjusted by small tweaks in your hiring process. Different aspects you can look at include how often is your company hosting orientations. We have some clients that have a set schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday. We have some clients that may be a little bit smaller and they host, orientations as needed. So really looking at how quickly your team is processing these hires. Another piece you want to look at is how many unqualified candidates your recruiters have had to sift through. That will dramatically affect the lead to hire ratio and how quickly your company is actually able to process all the mandatory DOT applications, background checks, pre-employment. And so really looking at those rates from not only when the qualified lead came in, but how quickly your team is able to hire them is a really strong metric to consider. So some key points that you want to keep in mind is to use the recruitment calculator as the pulse of your entire hiring strategy. Number two, create the specific goals you'll be setting for 2024 and readjust as necessary. This is something that we look at with our clients on a quarterly basis so that you can strategically create a strong recruitment budget, look at your overall cost per hire, your lead to hire ratio, and really emphasize the positive outcomes that you're aiming for. So talking about cost per hire, step 3 is looking at your cost per hire. So let's chat about that. It really is a simple calculation. Just take the total number of recruitment costs from last year and divide it by the number of hires. This will give you an idea of how each new hire impacts your budget. It's also a great way to figure out if you need to adjust your budget based on your hiring plans for the upcoming year. In the recruitment calculator, again, the link below, there is a section in there where you can put in what your average cost per hire is. Of course, the lower cost per hire, the lower the recruitment spend. So that's a really key metric that you want to consider as you're looking at 2023 and then planning ahead for 2024. So some key points to keep in mind is keep it really straightforward and highlight the budget implications of each new hire. Connect it to the budget planning for 2024, and you will really be able to take that cost per hire number and really work it back to see exactly what shifts your company needs to take in order to create a strong budget for 2024. Step number 4, keep an eye on the KPIs. Now, when it comes to tracking your progress, it's critical to rely on, of course, solid evidence. Numbers don't lie, so looking at your KPIs is essential. It's necessary to closely monitor your spending and results over time. So regularly analyzing these numbers ensures that your budget remains very sensible month over month. At the same time, it's really important to review each vendor and the source carefully and how that actually goes in effect with the cost per hire. So for instance, some clients may have a lower cost per lead with a certain vendor, but that results in a higher volume with one specific source. With that, it might consume most of the recruiter's times to sift through all of these unqualified leads, ultimately leading to a higher cost per hire. In contrast, another source might have a lower volume, but offers a higher quality of leads, resulting in better, stronger cost per hire. So I strongly always advocate for prioritizing the quality over quantity of leads, especially for small to medium-sized carriers with limited recruitment staff. So some key points to keep in mind is to really highlight the significance of your KPIs for making informed decision making. Stress the practicality of tracking results and encourage regular budget reviews on a monthly and quarterly basis with a strong pulse on the KPIs. And so when it comes to managing your budget effectively, it's critical to not only overlook the power of the right tools, but many trucking companies are using ATS systems. So the last point here is really looking at how can you use your ATS system to your advantage and automate different aspects of the recruitment process. As we all know, there are a handful of popular ATS systems that are commonly used in our industry. What we also do find is that many trucking companies have yet to tap into the full potential of what these ATS systems offer. So one aspect is really looking at, your lead to hire ratio, and then looking at how you can automate certain aspects of the recruitment process, which can really be a game changer. Some benefits of automating for a better hiring is boosting recruiter productivity. Again, they're focusing really on the quality of candidate versus sifting through the number of resumes that recruiters get from job boards these days. It speeds up the time to hire ratio. So by automating different phases of that process, it will absolutely increase the lead to speed. It will also help reduce your cost per hire. So in the kind of 30,000 foot view of automation, it actually really enhances the overall talent quality. And the reason why is that recruiters are able to spend more time with qualified candidates on the phone, ensuring that they are the right match, core values for the company, versus rushing through going from lead to candidate that may not even meet their hiring qualifications. And so as we put together our 2024 recruitment budget, is critical to consider your growth strategy. Is your company in acquisition mode or growth mode, aiming to expand your workforce to meet new opportunities, or are you focusing on maintaining current staff levels to meet existing customer demands? I always recommend look at two possible scenarios: acquisition and growth, and maintaining current staff. You never know where sales is going to go, or what shifts may happen in business. For example, a lot of clients that we have in the LTL sector really picked up a lot of business with the shutdown of Yellow this past July and August. So there are unforeseeable things that could happen that will affect your hiring strategy. So I always recommend take the recruitment calculator, look at the two options of maintaining and then growth mode, and go with the plan of attack that you forecast seeing for your business. And so as we close the books on 2023, and I can't believe I'm even saying it, and going into 2024, it's really essential to learn from our wins and our losses. There's always going to be room for improvement. And by looking at what worked and what didn't work, we can really get a head start on making 2024 a true success. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me today on reviewing 2023, recruiting for a better 2024. And remember, the team here at KJ Media is here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions or need any further guidance, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're just a message away. And feel free to share this knowledge with your peers and industry colleagues. You sharing can make a difference. Together, we can empower the industry to thrive. Until next time, have a great day.